185,000 warriors, the most powerful army of the time, rested confidently in their imminent victory over a besieged city. Their shields gleamed under the moonlight. Their swords awaited the moment of the final attack. These were experienced men, veterans of countless battles, belonging to the feared Assyrian Empire. But something extraordinary was about to happen, something that would forever change the course of history. The year was approximately 701 BC, and Jerusalem found itself in an apparently impossible situation. King Hezekiah and his people were cornered within the city walls, facing what seemed to be their inevitable end. The Assyrian Empire, known for its unparalleled brutality and advanced warfare techniques, had conquered kingdom after kingdom, leaving a trail of destruction wherever it went. Isaiah chapter 10 verse 5 states, "Woe to Assyria, the rod of my anger, in your hand is the club of my indignation." These words of the prophet Isaiah echoed like thunder over the most feared empire of antiquity. The rise of the Assyrian Empire. Rooted in the Fertile Crescent along the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, in what is now northern Iraq, the Assyrian Empire stood as a colossus of the ancient world, its shadow stretching across nations from Mesopotamia to the Levant. Its military prowess was unmatched, a force that reshaped the geopolitical landscape through sheer dominance. The prophet Nahum painted a vivid portrait of its fearsome presence. Their shields are red, their soldiers are clothed in scarlet, the chariots of the army are like flashes of lightning. Nahum chapter 2 verses 3 to 4. This imagery captures not just the visual splendor of their scarlet-clad warriors and gleaming war machines, but the psychological terror they instilled. The red shields, possibly painted with blood or dyed to evoke it, symbolize their ruthless conquests, while their chariots, swift and relentless, moved like a storm across the battlefield, leaving devastation in their wake. Under King Sennacherib, reigning from 705 to 681 BC, Assyria reached the zenith of its power. Sennacherib was a master of both strategy and spectacle, orchestrating campaigns that blended military precision with calculated brutality. His reign saw the empire expand its borders through a series of conquests that crushed resistance and absorbed entire kingdoms. Isaiah's prophecy in chapter 8 verse 7 captures this relentless advance. "Therefore the Lord will bring against them the mighty and many waters of the river, that is, the king of Assyria with all his host." This was no mere poetic flourish. It described a tangible reality where Assyrian armies swept through regions like an unstoppable flood, drowning opposition in their path. Their capital, Nineveh, was a testament to their grandeur, a sprawling metropolis of unparalleled scale. Jonah chapter 3 verse 3 notes, "Nineveh was a great city. It took 3 days to go through it. Its towering ziggurats, opulent palaces, and bustling markets were not just symbols of wealth, but of an empire confident in its invincibility." The Assyrian war machine was a marvel of organization and innovation. Their armies, comprising infantry, cavalry, and siege engineers, were equipped with advanced weaponry, including iron-tipped spears, composite bows, and battering rams that could reduce fortified walls to rubble. Their tactics were as psychological as they were physical. Deportation was a cornerstone of their strategy, designed to fracture cultural identities and prevent rebellion. The northern kingdom of Israel had already fallen victim, as recorded in 2 Kings chapter 17 verses 5 to 6. After a grueling 3-year siege, Samaria succumbed, and its people were scattered across the empire, from Media to Hala, their heritage diluted to ensure compliance. This policy of forced migration was not merely punitive, it was a calculated dismantling of national spirit, leaving conquered peoples rootless and powerless. Sennacherib's campaigns were marked by a blend of efficiency and terror. His annals boast of reducing cities to heaps of ruins, with captives marched in chains to distant lands. The empire's administrative prowess supported its military might, with a network of governors and tribute systems ensuring resources flowed to Nineveh. This wealth fueled further conquests, creating a cycle of domination that seemed unbreakable. By the time Sennacherib turned his gaze to Judah, His reputation preceded him. The fortified cities of Judah fell one by one, as 2 Kings chapter 18 verse 13 confirms. In the 14th year of King Hezekiah's reign, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, attacked all the fortified cities of Judah and captured them. The ease with which these strongholds collapsed underscored the empire's fearsome reputation, setting the stage for a confrontation that would test not just military strength but spiritual resolve. The Assyrians were not content with physical conquest alone. They excelled at psychological warfare. Their envoys, trained in rhetoric and intimidation, wielded words as weapons. 2 Kings chapter 18 verse 27 records their chilling taunts, designed to terrify civilians into submission with threats of starvation and suffering. Sennacherib's hubris reached its peak when he challenged the God of Israel, equating him with the powerless idols of defeated nations. His officials mocked. Has any god of any nation ever been able to save his land from the king of Assyria? Where are the gods of Hamath and Arpad? Where are the gods of Sepharvaim? Have they delivered Samaria out of my hand? 2 Kings chapter 18 verses 33-34. This blasphemy elevated the conflict beyond earthly borders, pitting human arrogance against divine sovereignty. The stage was set for a showdown that would echo through history, with Jerusalem as the battleground and faith as the ultimate weapon. Hezekiah, a king of faith and preparation. Amid the encroaching darkness of Assyrian aggression, Jerusalem stood under the leadership of King Hezekiah, whose name, meaning "the Lord is my strength," was a fitting testament to his character. The scriptures laud him as exceptional. He did what the Lord pleased, just as his father David had done. He removed the idolatrous altars, smashed the sacred pillars, and cut down the sacred Asherah poles. 2 Kings chapter 18 verses 3-4. Ascending the throne at age 25, Hezekiah inherited a kingdom steeped in spiritual compromise. Yet he embarked on a transformative mission to restore Judah's covenant with God. His reign was marked by a rare devotion, as 2 Kings chapter 18 verse 5 declares. He trusted in the Lord, the God of Israel. There was never anyone like him among all the kings of Judah, either before or after him. This trust was not passive, but a dynamic force that reshaped his kingdom. Hezekiah's first act was to restore the temple, neglected and defiled under his father, Ahaz. 2 Chronicles chapter 29, verse 3 records, "In the first year of his reign, in the first month, he opened the doors of the Lord's temple and repaired them." This was no mere renovation, it was a spiritual awakening. He summoned the Levites to purify the sanctuary, removing idols and restoring sacred rituals. The reinstitution of Passover, as described in 2 Chronicles chapter 30 verse 26, was a monumental event. From the days of Solomon, David's son, king of Israel, there had never been anything like it in Jerusalem. This celebration, attended by thousands, rekindled national unity and devotion, drawing people from both Judah and remnants of Israel to worship together. The temple once again became the heart of the nation, pulsating with sacrifices, songs, and prayers that echoed the glory of David's era. Beyond spiritual reform, Hezekiah was a pragmatic leader who understood the physical threats facing his people. Anticipating Assyrian aggression, he fortified Jerusalem with remarkable foresight.
The Siloam Tunnel, an engineering feat carved through solid rock, ensured a secure water supply during sieges, as noted in 2 Kings chapter 20 verse 20. Hezekiah made the upper pool and the tunnel that brought water to the western part of the city of David. This 533-meter tunnel, still a marvel today, redirected water from the Gihon spring to within the city walls, safeguarding Jerusalem's lifeline. 2 Chronicles chapter 32 verse 5 details further preparations. He rebuilt broken walls, erected additional towers, constructed an outer wall, reinforced the Millo terrace, and amassed weapons like spears and shields. These efforts transformed Jerusalem into a formidable stronghold, capable of withstanding prolonged assaults.
Hezekiah's leadership extended beyond bricks and mortar to the hearts of his people. His reforms fostered a culture of faith, uniting Judah under a renewed covenant. When whispers of Assyrian advances reached Jerusalem, he stood before his people, delivering a message of courage rooted in divine assurance. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged because of the king of Assyria and the vast army with him, for the Lord your God is the one who goes with you. He will not leave you or forsake you. 2 Chronicles chapter 32, verses 7-8. These words were not mere rhetoric. They reflected a king who lived his faith. His policies, spiritual, military, and administrative, created a synergy of preparation and trust, positioning Jerusalem not just as a city under siege, but as a testament to divine fidelity. As the Assyrian threat loomed, Hezekiah's multifaceted leadership laid the groundwork for a miracle that would defy the odds. The Assyrian onslaught and psychological warfare. The approach of Sennacherib's army was a spectacle of dread, with the ground trembling under the march of thousands and dust clouds signaling their advance.
2 Kings chapter 18 verse 13 confirms the onslaught's scope. In the 14th year of King Hezekiah's reign, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, attacked all the fortified cities of Judah and captured them. One by one, Judah's strongholds fell, their defenses no match for Assyrian siege technology and disciplined ranks. Lachish, a key city, bore the brunt of this campaign, its fall immortalized in vivid reliefs from Sennacherib's palace, now housed in the British Museum. These images depict battering rams breaching walls, captives led away, and the city engulfed in flames, a grim foreshadowing of Jerusalem's potential fate. Leading the psychological assault was Rabshakeh, Sennacherib's chief envoy, whose words were as sharp as any sword. Positioning himself near the Upper Pool Aqueduct, a strategic location tied to Jerusalem's water supply, he launched a verbal barrage designed to fracture morale.
Speaking in Hebrew to ensure the populace overheard, he challenged Hezekiah's leadership. Tell Hezekiah, the king of Judah, this is what the great king, the king of Assyria, says. Why do you trust in strategies and in might, since you are nothing but talk? Who do you trust to deliver you from me? 2 Kings chapter 18 verses 19-20. This deliberate use of Hebrew, ignoring pleas to use Aramaic, 2 Kings chapter 18 verse 26, was a calculated move to sow fear among the common people, undermining their trust in their king and God. Rabshakeh's rhetoric escalated, blending intimidation with seductive promises. Listen to the words of the great king, the king of Assyria. This is what the king says. Do not let Hezekiah deceive you. He cannot save you from my hand. 2 Kings chapter 18 verses 28-29. He dangled a vision of peace under Assyrian rule. Don't listen to Hezekiah. This is what the king of Assyria says. Make peace with me and surrender.
Each of you will eat from your own vine and fig tree and drink water from your own cistern. 2 Kings chapter 18 verse 31. This false promise of prosperity aimed to erode resistance, painting surrender as salvation. Yet, his most audacious move was spiritual blasphemy, equating the God of Israel with defeated deities. Can any god of any nation save his land from the king of Assyria? Where are the gods of Hamath and Arpad? Where are the gods of Sepharvaim? Have they delivered Samaria out of my hand? 2 Kings chapter 18 verses 33-34. Sennacherib's follow-up letter to Hezekiah intensified this challenge. Do not let the God you trust deceive you when he says Jerusalem will not be delivered into the king of Assyria's hand. Surely you have heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all the lands and their gods, destroying them completely, and you think you will be spared. 2 Kings chapter 19 verses 10-11.
This was no mere military campaign, it was a direct assault on divine sovereignty. As Isaiah chapter 37 verse 23 condemns, Whom have you insulted and blasphemed? Against whom have you raised your voice and looked with pride? Against the Holy One of Israel. Rabshakeh's taunts planted seeds of doubt. Do not let Hezekiah deceive you, saying, "The Lord will deliver us." Has any god of any nation ever rescued his land from the king of Assyria? 2 Kings chapter 18 verses 32 to 33. Yet the people's silence, ordered by Hezekiah. 2 Kings chapter 18 verse 36 spoke volumes, a collective resolve rooted in faith, refusing to engage with the enemy's provocations. This silence set the stage for a divine response that would redefine the conflict. Hezekiah's humble response and prophetic assurance. Faced with existential threats, Hezekiah's response revealed the depth of his character. 2 Kings chapter 19 verse 1 states, "When King Hezekiah heard this, he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth, and went into the temple of the Lord." This act of mourning was not despair, but a profound expression of humility and dependence on God. Rather than rallying troops or negotiating terms, he sought divine intervention first, embodying a leadership style that prioritized spiritual strength. He sent envoys, also in sackcloth, to the prophet Isaiah, conveying a poignant metaphor. This is what Hezekiah says: "Today is a day of distress, rebuke, and humiliation. We are like a woman in labor, but we have no strength to give birth." 2 Kings chapter 19 verse 3. This imagery captured Judah's desperation, teetering on the edge of collapse yet clinging to hope. In the temple, Hezekiah's prayer was a masterclass in faith under pressure. Laying Sennacherib's threatening letter before the Lord, he prayed with raw honesty. "Lord, the Lord Almighty, enthroned between the cherubim, you alone are God over all the kingdoms of the earth. You have made heaven and earth. Restore us, Lord, and have mercy on us. Look down from heaven and see and hear the words Sennacherib has sent to ridicule the living God." 2 Kings chapter 19 verses 15 to 16. He acknowledged the Assyrians' devastating conquests but distinguished God's uniqueness. "It is true, Lord, that the kings of Assyria have devastated nations and their lands and have thrown their gods into the fire, and they are no gods at all. They are only wood and stone, fashioned by human hands." 2 Kings chapter 19, verses 17 to 18. His prayer's climax revealed its ultimate aim. "Now, Lord our God, deliver us from his hand, so that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you alone, Lord, our God." 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 19. This plea was not merely for survival, but for the glorification of God's name across nations. Hezekiah's faith, rooted in a lifetime of devotion. 2 Kings chapter 18. He trusted in the Lord, the God of Israel. There was never anyone like him among all the kings of Judah, either before or after him, was now tested in its darkest hour. His earlier reforms, from temple restoration to defensive fortifications, had prepared Jerusalem physically and spiritually. The Siloam tunnel ensured water, the strengthened walls provided security, but it was his call to courage that fortified hearts. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged because of the king of Assyria and the vast army with him, for the Lord your God is the one who goes with you. He will not leave you or forsake you. 2 Chronicles chapter 32, verses 7 to 8. This message, delivered before the crisis peaked, resonated as the Assyrian threat materialized, anchoring the people in trust. God's response through Isaiah was immediate and resolute. "This is what the Lord says concerning Sennacherib, king of Assyria. I am about to put an end to this war against you, and you will not enter the city or shoot an arrow there." 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 20. The prophecy dismantled Assyrian arrogance. The Lord will cause the arrogant pride of all your warriors to be like fine dust, which is swept away by a gust of wind. 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 21.
It rebuked their blasphemy. Whom have you insulted and blasphemed? Against whom have you raised your voice and looked with pride against the Holy One of Israel? 2 Bone chapter 19, verse 22. God revealed that even Assyria's victories were under his control. Through your own servants, you have mocked the Lord, and you said, with my many chariots, I have ascended to the heights of the mountains, to the tops of the Carmelites. I have cut down your cedars and taken your best fir trees.
I have penetrated to the farthest limits of your forests, to your best woods. 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 23. Yet, 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 25, declared their limits. Have you not heard? I have heard a report from the Lord, and I have fulfillment from the Lord concerning you and your children and all your forces. I have given you into his hand. He will put an end to the splendor of your armies. He will cut off your chariots and their drivers, the mighty men who run along with them. The divine verdict was unambiguous. Therefore, this is what the Lord says concerning the king of Assyria. He will not enter this city or shoot an arrow there. He will not come before it with shield or build a ramp against it. By the way he came, he will return. He will not enter this city, declares the Lord. 2 Kings chapter 19, verses 32 to 33. A sign of hope followed. This is the sign for you, Hezekiah. This year you will eat what grows of itself, and the next year what springs from that. But in the third year, sow and reap, plant vineyards and eat their fruit. 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 29. This promise of immediate survival, gradual recovery, and future prosperity culminated in 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 30. Once more the remnant of the house of Judah will again take root in the land, and they will produce fruit upward, driven by the zeal of the Lord Almighty. 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 31. This prophecy affirmed God's sovereign power to humble empires and restore his people. The night of divine judgment. As night fell, the Assyrian encampment surrounded Jerusalem, its 185,000 warriors, a formidable sight under the starlit sky. Tents stretched endlessly, their campfires glowing like a constellation of menace. Within the city, Judah's people clung to Isaiah's prophecy and Hezekiah's leadership, their faith a fragile yet unyielding shield.
Then, in a moment of divine mystery, 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 35 records, the angel of the Lord went out and killed 185,000 men in the Assyrian camp. The brevity of this account belies its magnitude. In a single night, the mightiest army of the age was obliterated. Dawn revealed a haunting scene. When the people came out in the morning, there were all the dead bodies. The silence that replaced the clamor of war was deafening, a testament to the swift fulfillment of Isaiah's words. I will set my hook in his nose and fill his teeth with bronze. I will turn him back by the roads he has traveled. 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 28. Sennacherib, stripped of his army, retreated to Nineveh, as 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 36 confirms. His humiliation culminated in a tragic end. One day, while he was worshiping in the temple of his god Nisroch, his sons Adramelech and Sharezer killed him with the sword. 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 37.
The irony was stark. The king who mocked the living God met his demise before a lifeless idol. This fulfilled God's promise to defend Jerusalem for my own sake and for the sake of my servant David. 2 King chapter 19, verse 34. Ensuring no arrow was fired, no ramp built, as 2 King chapter 19, verse 32 promised. He will not enter this city or shoot an arrow there. He will not come before it with shield or build a ramp against it. This was not merely a military victory, but a divine vindication, affirming Hezekiah's prayer, "Now, Lord our God, deliver us from his hand, so that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you alone, Lord, our God." 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 19. The event, echoed in Psalm chapter 46, verses 8 to 9, calls all to witness God's power and return to him. Corroboration from history and archaeology. The biblical narrative is not an isolated tale, but one corroborated by historical and archaeological evidence, lending weight to its account.
The Sennacherib Prism, a hexagonal clay artifact at the Oriental Institute of Chicago, details the king's campaign against Judah, boasting of besieging 46 fortified cities and confining Hezekiah like a caged bird in Jerusalem. Yet, crucially, it omits any claim of capturing the city, a silence that speaks volumes for a ruler meticulous in recording victories. This aligns perfectly with 2 Kings chapter 19, suggesting an abrupt end to the campaign. Herodotus, the Greek historian, recounts a parallel event in Egypt where a plague of field mice devastated Assyrian equipment overnight, rendering them defenseless. While differing in specifics, this tradition supports the idea of a sudden, inexplicable disaster, possibly a plague or divine act, mirroring Jerusalem's deliverance. Assyrian records further confirm Sennacherib's assassination by his sons, as noted in 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 37, and corroborated by the Babylonian chronicles. Archaeological finds in Jerusalem, like the Siloam Tunnel, validate Hezekiah's preparations. 2 Kings chapter 20, verse 20. Inscriptions within the tunnel describe its construction under siege conditions, a testament to his foresight. Excavations at Lachish reveal Assyrian siege ramps and destruction layers from 701 BC, depicted in Nineveh's palace reliefs. Yet no such evidence exists for Jerusalem, reinforcing the biblical claim of its preservation. Recent discoveries in Jerusalem's Mordot Arnona district uncover an administrative complex destroyed by Assyrians, suggesting post-siege taxation but confirming Hezekiah's continued rule. Satellite imagery even hints at a possible Assyrian camp near Jerusalem, underscoring the siege's scale. These findings, as Isaiah chapter 30 verse 21 declares, guide us. This is the way, walk in it. They affirm Psalm chapter 48 verse 8. As we have heard, so we have seen in the city of the Lord of hosts, in the city of our God. God has founded it forever. The event's regional impact, preserving Judah's remnant, 2 Kings chapter 19 verse 30, reflects God's compassion, Isaiah chapter 30 verse 18, and serves as a lesson for all time, per 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 11. Enduring lessons for today. Hezekiah's response to crisis offers profound lessons. His immediate turn to prayer, spreading the letter before God, 2 Kings chapter 19 verse 14, models spiritual priority in adversity. The contrast between Sennacherib's boast, with my many chariots, I have ascended to the heights of the mountains, 2 Kings chapter 19 verse 23, and Hezekiah's trust, the Lord our God is with us to help us and to fight our battles. 2 Chronicles chapter 32 verse 8 underscores divine reliance over human might. Pride's danger, as Proverbs chapter 16 verse 18 warns, pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall, is evident in Sennacherib's fall. Hezekiah's blend of faith and action prayer paired with fortifications aligns with James chapter 2 verse 17. In the same way, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead, waiting on God's timing, per Isaiah chapter 30 verse 15. In repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength. Proves essential. Deliverance glorified God. 2 Kings chapter 19 verse 19. Preserving a remnant. 2 Kings chapter 19 verse 30. Today's challenges echo this, with Romans chapter 8 verse 31 assuring, if God is for us, who can be against us? God's constancy. Hebrews chapter 13 verse 8. Brings joy, as Psalm chapter 126 verse 3 exults, great things the Lord has done for us, and we are filled with joy. Conclusion. A timeless testimony of divine faithfulness. This saga of Jerusalem's deliverance is a monumental clash between earthly power and divine authority.
The 185,000 Assyrian warriors, armed with unmatched might, faced a city fortified by Hezekiah's faith, Isaiah's prophecies, and Judah's trust. Dawn revealed their annihilation, fulfilling. Psalm chapter 4, verse 6. Many say, "Who will show us the prosperity? Lord, let the light of your face shine upon us." This was no mere survival, but a divine affirmation of God's sovereignty for today's world, facing its own trials. 1 John chapter 4, verse 4 proclaims, "Greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world." Jerusalem's renewal, driven by the zeal of the Lord Almighty. 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 31, inspires hope. Hezekiah's call endures. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you. He will fight for you. 2 Chronicles chapter 32, verse 7. Jeremiah chapter 32, verse 17 affirms, "Our sovereign Lord, you have made the heavens and the earth by your great power and outstretched arm. Nothing is too hard for you," defending his people for his name's sake. 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 34. God remains our refuge, per Psalm chapter 46, verse 2. We will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. This narrative, echoing Zechariah chapter 4, verse 6, "Not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit," calls us to trust. To him be glory forever. Amen.